Bitcoin is actually in line with biblical principles. So what I've found is a lot of Christians struggle to buy Bitcoin because they assume it's some sort of gamble, a speculative asset, something that they don't want to just waste their money on in hopes that it goes up. But what I've found, it's actually in line with what the Bible teaches about money and truth economics. And so Proverbs 11:1, it says, "A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight." So if we're measuring, like right now I'm in Australia, the Aussie dollars is the measurement of value, but that measurement, so let's say it's like a ruler that's always growing. So you can't have, oh yeah, grab me a ruler and assuming it's 30 centimeters, but then by the time you pick it up, it's 40 centimeters. And so that's not a good measurement. Like there's a reason that we have set standards when it comes to centimeters, millimeters, meters, kilometers, things that are never changing, is because they work. Now, when you're saving in a dollar that's constantly increasing its supply into the system, therefore its value is constantly going down. How can you value things around you in something that's forever changing? So this is what's really cool, because the Bible actually talks about this and says, look, you need to have a weight and a scale that is forever the same, that is never changing, and that can actually put a value on things that are put onto it. So another one is Leviticus 19, chapter 19, 35 to 36. "You shall do no wrong in judgment, in measurements of length or weight or quantity. You shall have just balances, just weights." Deuteronomy says, chapter 25, 13, 16, "You shall not have in your bag differing weights, a large and a small." Now, all these verses are really talking about having an even weight, something, a unit of measurement that's going to stay constant so you can actually measure things around it. Now that's really cool. So Bitcoin isn't just a cool investment, a cool way to save money. It's actually sound money, and it's moral money. It's neutral money. It doesn't benefit one group more than the other. You don't need to be rich or poor to invest in Bitcoin. You don't need to swing red or blue to invest in Bitcoin. You don't need to be a Christian or a Muslim to invest in Bitcoin. It's actually neutral money. It benefits all who join, and it's basically an alternative system. So the current system that you're in, saving in fiat dollars, saving in your local currency, those dollars are forever changing. The amount of them are forever changing, and therefore the things that are priced in it are forever changing. So one day, a carton of eggs was $5 and it's now $9 in Australia. Makes no sense because that egg hasn't fundamentally changed for the last thousands of years. But there's so many dollars flood into the system, and so price has to go up. You have more units of measurement chasing the same amount of goods and services. So that's just not going to work long term, and this is what we see with inflation. The US dollar has lost 99% of its value since 1913. If that's the winner, it's not doing very good. So I really like that, as you follow the Bible and follow something that's been fundamentally the same, the Word of God, for thousands of years, and it has principles on, the economy, on what money you should use. It's basically saying don't be corrupt, don't be a centralized authority that can alter the money that the people use, therefore filling your own bags and causing the poor people to get poorer. Now, I really like that. And I thought that was something interesting to share. And so Bitcoin goes a lot further than just a speculative gamble and a speculative asset, because it actually aligns with biblical principles, something that's been a fundamental core for Australia as a Christian nation and the US as a Christian nation. And what we're seeing as Australia gets further and further away from Christian values, Christian principles, and biblical teaching as a nation, what we're seeing is we're getting more and more debased as a currency. Our country is essentially falling apart, and people cannot afford lives, and therefore mental health issues is rising, suicide rates is rising, obesity is rising. All these things stems from the money being corrupt. And then you can argue, well, that's also because men are falling short from the glory of God. Everyone's born with a sinful nature, and if they have the ability to print money out of thin air, of course they're going to use it. And so, it really is good and evil at the end of the day. It's just unfortunately we've chosen evil as a nation, and we're seeing the consequences of that now, and we see that through the money. And so, money is the root of all evil, and that's not just from chasing possessions and trying to be rich, but it's also a chance to be corrupt and greedy, and for people that are just trying to go to work and supply a life for their wife and their family, and instead their time and energy is not going as far as it used to, and they're constantly trying to keep up on that hamster wheel, trying to work more and more hours, and it actually takes them away from their family, their friends, and even things like their faith. We're now seeing people getting less and less interested in the Christian faith, and I think a lot of that is because there's so much distraction with financial pressure that they don't even want to have a second look at religion, because their life is so at the bottom of the barrel, and it's just no wonder that people don't even want to have a second glance at faith, because they're looking at their life and going, I'm screwed. Like, God can't really save me from this situation. So it's really sad, because obviously he can, and it's just this money has become such a distraction for people the other way, not having an absolute abundance of money, but rather they're in absolute poverty. Anyway, so I just thought I'd show you that those thoughts. So yeah, the Bible actually teaches a lot about what Bitcoin has been built around, and I'm not necessarily saying it prophesies Bitcoin to exist, but Bitcoin has been the closest thing we have to sound money with a cap supply, and you can actually verify not only transactions but the supply on the blockchain. A decentralized network, a decentralized money that we've never really seen before. So even gold is a centralized asset and a centralized commodity now, with the banks holding the large majority, and they can set price caps, they can stop the price from running, they can confiscate your gold, strip you from your gold, whereas Bitcoin's the first time we have true self-custody, self-sovereignty, and a decentralized money. The people's money, they call it. Very interesting. Alrighty, thanks guys. Tune in for the next video. Just thought I'd do a quick one on Bitcoin and biblical principles and how they intertwine. Cheers guys.